there's a partial reason why we have so many French wines on this show, because I happen to like them and I host and produce the show, so I get to pick. But what is your view on France, guys? I mean, when you think about France and why it's such an incredible wine region, give me 3 adjectives or 3 thoughts that come to mind when you think of French wines, both white and red.
To me, for French wine, I would say it is food friendly because of the minerality. French wine, I think, is very approachable because there are so many different styles of French wine out there. You have Riesling, you have big, gigantic, Cornas, and you have this just lovely, beautiful Saint Joseph Syrah, and yeah, it's just there are so many styles of French wine out there, and there's always something for everyone.
It's really about diversity, right? I mean, diversity in life is great, isn't it? I mean, so when you have that in a wine region, versus just a single varietal California Chardonnay, I'm not picking on it, but we tend to over-identify with a varietal in a certain region. Seth, what do you think about France?
I would say diversity in a small region. You have also the culinary cuisine that actually is going to back it up as well. So a lot of things, things will pair with all sorts of different wines. They kind of go together. It's not just what you eat and you drink. It's like you can actually enjoy them together. And also, yeah, it's surprisingly today, France is more affordable, if I had to do a third buzzword.
That's an interesting viewpoint. Michael, what about you? What are your 3 sort of adjectives that come to mind when we talk about France?
Unfortunately, I disagree and say that affordable is not one of them, which is unfortunate because French wine has spiraled, in my opinion, out of control in terms of price. But I mean, it's tradition, it's lifestyle, it's history. You look at French history, and it's very interlinked with the wine culture, the wine world. Napoleon, a huge drinker of wine, set down rules for inheritance that said, no, you cannot pass vineyards on from father to son or father to daughter. You have to divide up equally amongst all of your children. You look at Charlemagne. He loved wine so much. A certain region in Burgundy, Corton Charlemagne, certain vineyards were named after him because that was his favorite wine. You can't get away from French history without taking away French wine and French wine culture, and it's a bit of jealousy on my part. I wish that our country's moving in that direction, but we're not there yet, and it's just an immense amount of respect for just generations of doing the right thing.
I'd like to pick up on that point because when we talk about France, that's exactly what I think of in terms of its generations of doing the right thing. I once heard an Oregon wine producer speak one time, and he was in the business for 40 years and explained that he really had 3 chances to get it right. Now, when you start to think about that man in his life and his time in the vineyard in Oregon, I'm sure he made good decisions. His wines were great. But in France, that's been going on for thousands of years. And so that's why the wines that you drink and the varietals that are incorporated in those regions do so well. Terroir embraces so many things. It's not just the place, it's the irrigation, it's the sun aspect, it's the drainage in the soil, it's the type of soil. It's so many things that help make the vine grow and produce ultimately the wine that you drink. And so old world type countries, France, Italy, Spain, even Germany, I think to a large degree, Austria, they have this. And I think slowly, as Michael pointed out, it's being discovered more in California, for example, in that the world is starting to view things in more of a French way, at least the really high quality vineyards.